Nashville has gone from being a young man's town to a wild woman's town. And this old woman is happy I lived long enough to see the day. Hey, I'm Alice Randall. Welcome to The High Notes. Today I'll be talking about my new album, My Black Country. It started 41 years ago when I moved to Nashville in 1983 to be a country songwriter and publisher. In the 80s, the 90s, the zeros, the tens, and the 20s, I had songs recorded and I was thrilled by that. Biggest song, X's and O's, An American Girl by Trisha Yearwood, but also songs by Glenn Campbell, Marie Osmond, Mo Bandy. But every one of the people who recorded my songs over those years were people who did not look like me. Something got lost in that translation. And that thing that got lost is that I wrote those songs for everybody, but some of those heroes and sheroes in those songs, as I imagined them, were Black people like me who love country, who are living in the country. And when Many Mansions is sung by Mo Bandy, people don't remember that. When Many Mansions is sung by Allison Russell, people notice that. So it was thrilling for me to have 40 years of songwriting acknowledged, and it was even more thrilling to have the actual original heroes of the songs, as I imagine them, be embodied in the voices of this extraordinary group of Black women who, I would like to say, rode to the rescue of my legacy. This album is like a patchwork quilt. My grandmother used to put me to bed under a patchwork quilt made out of her old party dresses. Each of these recordings was a very different party, but when it comes together, it makes one extraordinary quilt. When Allison Russell recorded, she actually changed the lyric and improved it. The song lyric went from "In my father's house are many mansions" to "In my mother's house are many mansions." Rhiannon Giddens sent in parts of her tracks from Ireland across the Atlantic. And that was extraordinary. When Ebony Smith added horns to that, some people don't get it. What I get is this. It's saying lynching is not something that happened in the 19th century. It's something that's happening into the age that we have horns on music, that one of the last lynchings happened in 1955. The horns tell that story. Listening to what Rhiannon put in, the history of the banjo, going back to the earliest days of the Republic, and what Ebony, the producer, added, we get this 300-year story. But each of the songs was delightful. Sania sang a song I co-wrote with Walter Hyatt, and Walter is an amazing singer. Lyle Lovett produced one of his albums. I love working with Walter. We were so close, he actually babysat my child for me. His wife baked me banjo earrings for me to go meet Quincy Jones for the first time. So I love that Walter Hyatt recording. But Sania eclipses Walter. She's like a Black, purple-haired mermaid who sings like Dinah Washington and is steeped in country music. Walter is up in heaven, I know, listening to our new version of Get the Hell Out of Dodge, and is smiling huge. So each of these recordings was a very different kind of party. I love that Sister Strings sang Girls Ride Horses Too. They turn it into this complex duet that reminds me of Pancho and Lefty, actually. And it digs into this deep truth that women all across the country are dragged into the drug trade by their boyfriends and lovers. To hear them trading verses and pointing to this complex problem that happens in country space that gets ignored, I was thrilled. Country music has always been about preserving and evolving, preserving the best of the past and evolving into a new tomorrow. One of the things I love about the current moment in country music is that the evolution includes acknowledging the Black voices and Black bodies in country creatively and in the landscape that country comments on. Notice I said acknowledging. These bodies and people have always been present, they just haven't been acknowledged. A lot of country train songs, right? Train songs. A lot of Black lives, a lot of Asian lives, a lot of Indigenous lives lost in the building of the American railroad. That's just one small part of how country has Black and Indigenous influences and Asian influences woven, baked into its DNA that have not been acknowledged. But you know who knew that? D4 Bailey, his Pan American Blues. We can call that the birth of country music when he sings Pan American Blues on the WSM Railway. What I love in X's and O's, the last song on this album, we sample Mr. D4 Bailey. And that thrills me because he, to me, is the father of Black country, and he was the Grand Ole Opry's first superstar, period, not first Black superstar. People ask me what I mean when I say my Black country. It's my Black country, the United States, and it's looking at the Black West, the Black South, and pointing a finger at the erased histories that have occurred. But it's also looking at country music and my experience as a Black woman moving through country music. And it's a look at the first family of Black country and the people who have contributed the most to country music who were Black, and the Black audience that has long existed. So it's audience, artists, and instruments when I'm talking about my Black country. But my Black country is something that is a big tent that I welcome everyone who lives and loves country into. 41 years ago, I was in Washington, D.C., and the CMA was celebrating its 25th anniversary. And I was wondering whether I ever get one song recorded. And I could not have imagined then that I would get enough songs recorded that when we made an album of my recorded songs re-recorded, all my best work couldn't even get to the album. It is just a hallelujah. It's a joyful moment. And I think joy is radical, and this is just an absolutely joyful moment. I have some advice. Do the thing only you can do. Write the songs only you can write. Don't write for the radio or what you think the audience wants to hear. The heart of the creative action is to put something necessary in the world that isn't in the world until you put it there. Whether it's some advice, some beauty, some wisdom, some shake your booty distraction beat, something you think is necessary. Thanks to the CMA for having me, and make sure you like and subscribe and check out the videos for more extraordinary content. I am wearing my first ever Manuel jacket. I knew one day the moment would come. This album is the moment.